Hey everybody, Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to give you guys an update on my experience with the Dell Inspiron 15R. Now, if you missed my initial impressions of this machine, I'll try to catch you guys up as best as I possibly can. You're looking at the 15.6-inch 720p True Life LED backlit display that comes on the 15R. This is on all of the 15Rs, no matter which you select. They do start at $500 and go up to around $800. This machine is configured with a second gen Core i5 2430 Sandy Bridge Intel processor clocked at 2.4 gigahertz. It has 6 gigs of RAM pre-installed out of the box and no GPU dedicated here. We are working with the Intel GPU that is integrated into the motherboard. So this is not a gaming notebook. If you're looking for, a 1080p display and a, dedicated GPU, you really should be looking at the XPS lineup or another gaming-centric notebook. This is a value notebook targeted at day-to-day use for home users, ranging from pretty much any walk of life, whether you're doing some video editing and pushing that Core i5 to earn its, pay, or just trying to do, simple web browsing or video chatting on the HD webcam there, which has performed really well. The microphone array also performs well. So does the sound quality. So let me go ahead and show you guys some flash playback performance to give you an idea of video and audio performance from this machine. You put this to your head, you're taking your call. There is a rechargeable lithium battery in here. You charge it, of course, with the USB port right there. LED light there for basically letting you know whether or not the device is syncing. I think that gives you guys a pretty good idea of the audio and video quality. Sound quality is very good. It's not quite as good as the XPS 15, but it's very close, and that's impressive coming from a machine that comes in at basically half the cost of the XPS base model, or around there. It's close if you start at the $500 base of the 15R. So audio quality good, video quality good. Again, the screen, color saturation and brightness really aren't problems at all. Viewing angles could be better, but again, for this price point, I think the screen is very good, to say the least. I'm in no way disappointed. Moving away from the screen and webcam and the audio and video performance, let's talk about a really important thing, battery life. The 6-cell that comes standard on this machine will give you around 4 hours of battery life, more like 3 hours of power usage. Of course, that'll vary depending on your use of Wi-Fi, your brightness levels with the screen, your power configurations on the whole. If I pan down to the keyboard, which is one of the selling points of the 15R, because it is a really, I would say, solid keyboard in terms of really accommodating just about everyone. You've got your numeric keypad on the far right side, and unlike previous generations of the Inspiron 15R, this is an island-style keyboard, much like the more expensive XPS 15. In fact, this revision of the 15R, the Inspiron, really does resemble in many ways the XPS 15 more than ever before, and that's a good thing, folks, because that's a much more expensive notebook. So to see those features and a lot of those similarities on a value notebook is certainly not a bad thing. I do like the metallic accents. This is all plastic, as I mentioned in initial impressions. You do have a multi-touch touchpad, which does perform pretty well. I'll show you guys in a moment since I didn't really already. But again, this island-style keyboard is just great. I can't say enough good things about it. The palm rest really doesn't show that much wear. You can see a little bit here over the course of my use and really spending some time with the machine, but not very bad at all. In fact, the piano gloss bezel of the screen, which I was really worried about and mentioned in the initial impressions, doesn't even really show up as a fingerprint magnet, so that's definitely good. The power button is backlit, the keyboard is not. That's not an option, so again, if you're looking for a backlit keyboard, look elsewhere. It's not an option right now. Dedicated graphics on the 15R, though, is an option, by the way, for those of you that are curious. Since this model doesn't have a dedicated solution, there is an AMD offering on the highest configurable option for the 15R right now, at least during the holiday season. Other things to note, you've got your function keys, fairly standard, same thing you would find on the XPS, ranging from Wi-Fi brightness to video controls, sound controls. So all of the things that should be there are, and again, that numeric keypad is great. I wonder if it's, a cue that's been taken from what wasn't on the XPS 15's keyboard, the L502X, a little bit better use of space, in my opinion, since I know a lot of gamers out there who are going to be using a laptop like the L502X, the XPS 15, would like to have a dedicated numeric keypad. So interesting that it's here on the value line and not on the XPS 15. But anyway, definitely a very good keyboard. The dedicated function buttons up in the right corner I could always do without, but that's a matter of personal preference. You know, whether or not you're going to actually use those to get into audio settings and things like that is pretty much moot, considering you've got audio controls and video controls all along your function keys. So, you know, they're really quick setting buttons. Let's talk about, you know, going back to the screen for a second so I can show you guys the touchpad's multi-touch scrolling capability, as well as just talk about the overall performance of this Core i5. Again, the Sandy Bridge second gen chip that's in here is without a doubt a performer. Even though this is a value notebook, you're getting a chip that certainly has enough power behind it to get pretty much just about anything you're going to need done, unless you require a quad-core processor. If that's the case, again, look at the higher-end XPS lineup. Pretty much if you're looking for anything power-oriented, from a 1080p display to higher quality GPU chipsets to the backlit keyboard, you know, look at the XPS lineup. But if you're looking to get your best bang for the buck, I can tell you right now, that's where the 15R shines. It's certainly not a perfect machine, but it does perform very well. As you can see, if I just do the scroll here, it's fairly smooth. You know, it's not quite as smooth as what I'd find on the XPS 15, but fairly close. And if I give you guys a sample of the pinch to zoom, you know, it works fairly well. It's not perfect, but it certainly gets the job done. Again, I'm doing this inside Internet Explorer and Chrome. This would look a little bit better. Take that into account. In terms of bloatware, that's an important thing to point out because everybody's always concerned when they get a system. Let me talk about what type of bloatware you're getting. Of course, you are getting Nero. You can see it's popping up and bothering me. You do have the Stage UI interface that Dell installs across the board, as well as McAfee. So they do get you with some things, you know, some software that's going to annoy you. You can see what's here on the desktop in terms of, you know, coming out of the box. I haven't really installed that much. Really just been using this for web browsing, but I have played, as I mentioned before, with some high-profile AVC HD content on here, and really no issues whatsoever. Wi-Fi connectivity, this is the 1000 series Intel chipset, so you get good performance. You know, not best in class, but certainly the standard for value performance notebooks out there. I believe the chipset is the 1030, so the same that you'd find in the base configuration of the XPS 15. Again, all of the build quality and materials, you know, are plastic on this machine, but every cue of design has taken a lesson from the XPS 15, so that's definitely a good thing, as I mentioned before. So not a tremendous amount of bloatware. Performance is certainly good, especially at the price point. I really find it very difficult to tell you guys anything very negative about this system because, again, the price point is fantastic. It's really tough to, you know, fit all this value into such an inexpensive machine. I mean, in the past, to get a machine of this performance, you were often looking at spending at close to $1,000. So part of the way times have changed, clearly. Let me go ahead and close this up. You know, part of the way that computers have changed is really the performance per dollar. And here you're looking at that back lid. I'm just showing you guys that because this can be customized with different color lids. As you can see, they do still have that lip up along the top, much like the XPS, but no notification lights there. Anyway, really like this laptop, or notebook I should say, and can recommend it at its price point. Definitely one of the best values in class, even to this day. If you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. And of course, as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.